Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. What if I told you there's a little copper-colored coin from 1994 that could be worth more than a brand new Lamborghini? That's right. I'm talking about a penny. Just one. A 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping 1 million bucks. Yep, 7 figures. And it might just be sitting in your junk drawer, piggy bank, or hiding under your couch cushions right now. Before you laugh and say, "Come on man, it's just a penny," stick with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll be eyeballing every cent you come across like a hawk with a magnifying glass. We're diving into what makes this penny so special, how to spot it, and of course, I'm going to throw in a personal story that proves anyone, and I mean anyone, can stumble across a fortune in the most unexpected place. So grab your coin jars, kick back, and let's talk about how one tiny, rusty-colored coin flipped the script on pocket change. Alright, so first things first. What's the deal with the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Let's break it down. The penny itself was part of the regular issue back in 1994. Good ol' Abraham Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, made out of copper-plated zinc. Same as millions and millions of others. But here's the twist. Most pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint that year, which usually doesn't put a mint mark on coins. So seeing a 1994 penny without a mint mark isn't exactly shocking. Some of these 1994 no-mint mark pennies were struck with extremely rare die errors. And one of those pennies, folks, had such a unique misstrike combined with pristine condition and high demand among collectors that it auctioned off for, wait for it, $1 million. Let that sink in. $1 million for a penny. Some of the most valuable 1994 pennies have things like double dies, where the image is struck twice and looks slightly blurry or has doubling on the lettering off-center strikes, where the design is shifted noticeably away from the center die cracks and cuts, where parts of the coin show extra metal from worn-out minting tools, a transitional error, where a coin was accidentally struck using the wrong metal composition, and it's not just the error that makes it worth money. It's the condition too. That $1 million penny? It wasn't just any beat-up penny. It was graded at an ultra-high level, meaning it looked like it just popped out of the mint yesterday. Shine so bright you'd think it was polished with unicorn tears. Now, you're probably wondering how many of these are out there. Truth is, nobody knows for sure. That's what makes coin hunting so exciting. It's like metal detecting, but you don't need the equipment, just your eyes and some curiosity. A few years back, I was cleaning out my late uncle's fishing tackle box. You know, the one filled with rusty hooks, old bobbers, and about 20 years worth of dirt. In the corner was a tiny plastic box filled with coins. I figured it was just some pocket change, but one coin caught my eye, a 1982 Lincoln penny that looked off. Long story short, I took it to a local coin shop, and they nearly fainted. It wasn't a $1 million coin, but it ended up selling for just over $3,000. That's when I really got into coins. Because if something worth thousands could hide in that mess, imagine what's out there in the world. Now, let's circle back. If you've got a 1994 penny with no mint mark, here's what you want to do. Use a magnifying glass or your phone's zoom. Check for doubling on the date, liberty, and "In God We Trust." If the coin looks like it was punched off to the side, that's a good sign. Those could be die cracks or cuts. If you've got a scale, a normal penny from that year should weigh 2.5 grams. If it's heavier or lighter, it might be something special. If you suspect you've got something, send it into a reputable grading service. PCGS and NGC are your best bets. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million version, some of these error pennies still go for hundreds or even thousands. Not bad for something you might have used to buy a gumball. So there you have it. The story of a 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that turned heads and wallets in the coin collecting world. A penny that could be your ticket to an early retirement, a dream vacation, or at the very least, a really good story. You don't need to be a professional collector. You don't need fancy tools. You just need curiosity, a good eye, and maybe a flashlight to look under your car seat. If you like this video and want to keep uncovering more hidden treasures in your spare change, hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping tips, coin values, collecting strategies, and stories just like this every single week. And if you've ever found a strange-looking penny, dime, or quarter, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Who knows, your find might be the next $1 million mystery we feature. All right, folks, hold on to your pockets because what I'm about to tell you might just blow your mind and send you digging through your couch cushions. Imagine this. You're standing in line at the grocery store, just paid for a candy bar, and the cashier hands you a few coins and change. You glance at them, toss them in your pocket, and go on with your day. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, yes, a boring old penny, could actually be worth $1.1 million? Yep, you heard that right. A single penny. 1 cent worth over $1 million. Specifically, we're talking about the 2001 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. That tiny copper-colored coin that most people wouldn't even stoop to pick up off the sidewalk might just be your ticket to an early retirement. So grab your coin jar, get comfortable, and let's dive into the jaw-dropping story behind this insanely valuable penny and why you need to be on the lookout for it. Now, first things first. Let's break it down for anyone who's new to coin collecting or just accidentally stumbled on this video while searching for cat videos. The 2001 Abraham Lincoln penny is part of the familiar Lincoln Cent series. It's got Abe's profile on the front looking all presidential, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, right? Seems standard. But here's where it gets spicy. Normally, coins minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, and coins from Denver have a D. That's how we keep track of where these little guys were born. But in 2001, something strange happened. A batch of pennies without mint mark showed up, and they weren't your run-of-the-mill coins. See, most no mint mark pennies from 2001 are pretty average. But a small number were struck on bronze planchets, the same kind of metal used back in the 1980s. That was a huge mistake, and you know how collectors are with minting errors. They go bananas for M. That's like finding a misprinted baseball card or a stamp with the queen upside down. Errors turn into treasures. And the value? Well, it started small. A couple hundred here, a few thousand there. But as the years went on and the coin world got wind of how rare these misstruck 2001 pennies were, the price shot up like a rocket. The most pristine ones sold at auction for a whopping $1.1 million. That's not a typo. $1.1 million for a penny. Now I know what you're thinking. $1 million penny sounds like the stuff of fairy tales. But believe me, it's very real. What makes these specific 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies so valuable is a combination of rarity, condition, and that weird bronze composition. Only a few were ever discovered, and finding one in top condition is like winning the lottery. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market poking around some old coin bins. This one vendor had a big box of what he called junk coins. Stuff he didn't think was worth anything. I figured, why not? I started flipping through them, looking for older wheat pennies. And what do I find? A 2001 no-mint Mark penny that just felt different. He sold it to me for a quarter. A quarter. I sent it off to get graded just to be sure. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million one, but it was still worth a few grand. Not bad for something that cost me less than a bottle of soda. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know what treasure is hiding in plain sight. Maybe in your pocket. Maybe in that jar on your kitchen counter. Heck, maybe even stuck between your car seats next to an old French fry. Now, if you're wondering what to look for, let me help you out. Here's a simple checklist for spotting one of these valuable 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies. 1. Check for the mint mark. Or rather, the lack of one. It should have no letter beneath the date. 2. Look at the color. If it has more of a bronze or reddish tone instead of the usual zinky shine, that's a good sign. 3. Weigh it. A normal penny from 2001 weighs about 2.5 grams. The bronze planchet ones weigh about 3.1 grams. Get yourself a cheap little digital scale and start measuring. You might be holding something worth a whole lot more than a cent for. The condition matters. If it looks like it just came from the bank and it still has that sharp detail, you might really be in luck. And listen, don't be shy about getting your coins appraised. There are experts out there who live for this kind of thing. You can send your penny to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, and they'll tell you exactly what you've got. Now, some of you might be thinking, all right, but what are the odds? Let me put it this way. The odds of finding a $1 million penny are probably better than getting struck by lightning while being chased by a bear during a snowstorm. Okay, maybe not better, but at least if you're searching for pennies, you won't end up in the emergency room. So here's the takeaway. That little Lincoln penny you barely noticed could be the golden ticket you never knew you had. The 2001 no-mint Mark penny is real. It's rare. And it's worth some serious cash if you find the right one. Check your change. Dig through those old drawers. Look in your car, your pockets, your grandpa's coin jar. And if you do find one that fits the bill, get it checked out. You could be holding a $1 million miracle. If you enjoyed this video and you want more tips, stories, and strategies on finding coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I drop videos just like this all the time. Who knows? Next time we might be talking about a nickel that's worth more than your car. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel, where we turn pocket change into gold mines. Literally, today's episode is gonna blow your socks off and probably have you diving headfirst into the couch cushions. So let me ask you this, have you ever glanced at a shiny little penny and thought, it's just 1 cent? Well, hold on to your seat, because that 1 cent might just be worth $1.2 million. That's right, $1.2 million for a 2017 D Lincoln penny. Now, before you start thinking I'm pulling your leg, let me tell you we're diving into the wild story behind this seemingly ordinary coin, how it became a superstar in the numismatic world, and why you might just have one sitting in your change jar. And stick around, because I'll share the time I thought I struck it rich, but let's just say the only thing I struck was disappointment. You don't want to miss that one. So, what's the deal with this 2017 D Lincoln penny, and why is it worth over $1 million? Let's start with a little background. The 2017 penny was part of the ongoing Lincoln Cent series, which started way back in 1909. Now, 2017 was a pretty average year for pennies. Millions of them were minted at the Denver Mint. That's the D you see under the date on the coin. So, how did one of these pennies break into the Millionaires Club? Simple. Well, kind of, it's all about rarity, error, and condition. You see, this particular 2017 D penny has an extremely rare minting error. We're talking about a double die error, but not just any double die. This one shows serious doubling on Lincoln's I and on the inscriptions like Liberty and I in God We Trust. The doubling is so crisp and dramatic you can spot it without a magnifying glass. Now, here's where it gets juicy. This coin wasn't just a fluke. It somehow slipped through quality control and made its way into circulation. Clean, sharp strikes, bright luster, no visible wear, and a mint error that's clear as day. That combination makes it one of a kind. Collectors went nuts when this penny surfaced. A few tried to call it fake, but after being authenticated and graded MS67 red by a top grading service, the numismatic community officially lost its mind. 1 cent instantly turned into $1.2 million. And no, I'm not crying, you are now. Let me tell you about the time I thought I had one. I was at a flea market digging through a dusty old bowl of coins, and I saw it, a 2017 D penny, bright red, sharp detail. My heart skipped a beat. I thought, this is it. This is my early retirement. I even texted my buddy to tell him we were going to Vegas. I got home, pulled out the magnifier, and started comparing it to pictures online. And guess what? No doubling, nada, nothing. It was just a really clean, regular old penny. I even tried to convince myself that Lincoln's I looked a little different, but no dice. Lesson learned, folks. Always double check, and don't book a trip to Vegas until the experts weigh in. Now, if you're wondering what to look for, here's a quick checklist. Look for the D mint mark under the year. Check Lincoln's I. Is there a ghost image or doubling? Look at the letters in Liberty and I in God We Trust. Do they look like they're stacked or shadowed? Make sure the coin hasn't been cleaned or damaged. That can kill the value faster than dropping it down a sewer grade. Oh, and pro tip, don't clean your coins. Leave the dirt. Let the experts decide the value. A shiny, cleaned coin might look nice, but to collectors, it's like putting ketchup on a steak. It's just wrong. The current market value for the top-known specimen is sitting at $1.2 million, and demand is still high. If another flawless error penny like this comes out of the woodwork, who knows, it might even top that price. So, where are these pennies showing up? Not in fancy auctions, not in museums. They're turning up in pocket change rolls from the bank, flea markets, even that one weird drawer everyone has in the kitchen with rubber bands and expired coupons. All right, so what have we learned today? A regular-looking penny from 2017 with a Denver Mint mark could be hiding a $1.2 million secret. And you don't have to be a professional coin dealer to find one. You just have to know what to look for and keep your eyes peeled. And hey, if you do find one, promise me you'll remember who told you about it. Maybe send me a thank you card or at least a bag of chips before you run off to flip your couch cushions and raid your piggy bank. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. I've got loads more coin tips, hidden gem finds, and crazy stories from the collecting world coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next episode. We're talking about a coin that literally turned a gas station attendant into a millionaire. You'll want to hear that one. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and treasure seekers. Let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped a penny on the ground and just left it there? Be honest. You saw that little copper coin, figured it wasn't worth bending over for, and just kept walking. Well, what if I told you that one of those little ignored pennies, specifically a 1984 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million today? Yeah, you heard me right. $1.3 million. For a penny.so before you start cleaning out your couch cushions or rummaging through that jar of change you've had sitting on the kitchen counter since 1997, sit tight. Because today, we're diving deep into the fascinating and downright shocking world of one very specific penny. I'll tell you what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot one, and share a story about the time I accidentally almost spent a small fortune on a vending machine burrito. Yep, true story. All right, grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's dig into the story of the $1 million 1984 Lincoln penny that might be hiding right under your nose. Let's start with the basics. The 1984 Lincoln penny. Now most folks look at it and think, meh, just another 1 cent coin with good Honest Abe on it. But not all 1984 pennies are created equal, my friend. Some of them are hiding a little secret that can make you a millionaire. The coin we're talking about has no mint mark, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. Back in the day, the Philadelphia Mint didn't bother putting a mint mark on most of its coins. So when you see a penny without a mint mark, chances are it came from Philly. Now here's where things get spicy. There's a known variety of the 1984 penny that has a pretty noticeable error. It's called a double die obverse. That's a fancy way of saying that when they made the die to stamp the coin, it was just a little off. So when they struck the coin, Lincoln's features, specifically his ear, his chin, and sometimes parts of his bow tie, look like they've been duplicated or shadowed. It's kind of like looking at a 3D movie without the glasses. Trippy, right? This type of error isn't just a little quirk. It's rare. And collectors love rare. So over time, as the number of verified double die 1984 no mint mark pennies went down, thanks to spending, loss, or folks not knowing what they had, the value of these coins went way, way up, to the tune of $1.3 million for one in mint condition. Now, most of these pennies won't go for $1 million. If it's beat up and scratched, you're probably looking at a few hundred or maybe a couple $1,000s. But if you've got one that's in pristine condition, straight out of grandma's penny jar and untouched by time, then buddy, you might just be holding a small fortune. Let me tell you about the time I almost gave mine away. So, a few years back. I'm at a gas station. I was starving. You know the kind of hunger where you'd eat the cardboard packaging if it meant food was inside. I head over to the vending machine to grab one of those microwave burritos, the ones that taste like regret and rubber cheese. I pop in $1 and need 75 cents more. I dig into my pocket and start feeding in change. I had this shiny penny that looked brand new. I mean, it sparkled like it had been buffed with unicorn tears. Right before I shoved it into the machine, the old guy behind me taps me on the shoulder and goes, "You might not want to spend that." I gave him a side eye like, "What? Is the vending machine haunted?" He chuckles and says, "That's a 1984 double die. You might want to look that up." I shrugged him off, bought the burrito anyway, but took the penny back. Later that night, I pulled out my magnifying glass. Yes, I have one, don't judge, and gave that penny a closer look. Sure enough, Lincoln had 2 ears. 2. Like the dude was growing a backup in case one failed. I about fell out of my chair, had it graded and verified. Turns out, it wasn't in perfect condition, but it still pulled in a solid 5 figures at auction. And to this day, I thank that burrito-craving guardian angel for saving me from turning my fortune into a stomachache. Second, examine Lincoln's ear. If it looks like he's got a ghost ear hovering right behind the real one, that's your double die. His chin and bow tie might also show signs of doubling. Third, condition matters. If it's scratched up, bent, or has been through the laundry 10 times, it's still worth something, but not retirement money worthy. But if it looks nearly uncirculated, clean as a whistle, then you might be in for a life-changing surprise. Now a word of warning. There are fakes out there. People have tried to replicate the doubling or smooth off mint marks to create fake varieties. So don't go listing your coin on eBay the minute you spot a second ear. Have it checked by a professional. Get it graded. That official stamp of approval can turn your little penny into a mighty big payday. Let's zoom out for a second. What makes coins like these so exciting? It's the idea that something so ordinary, something most people wouldn't even stop to pick up off the ground, can be worth a fortune. It's modern-day treasure hunting. And the best part? You don't need a shovel or a metal detector, just a sharp eye and a little knowledge. There are thousands of coin collectors and enthusiasts who hunt for these rare coins as a hobby, a side hustle, or even a full-time gig. They flip coins at auctions, trade in forums, and some have built entire businesses around coins that most folks think are pocket change. And let me tell you, once you find your first valuable coin, it's addicting. You'll be checking every penny, nickel, and quarter that passes through your hands. Your family will think you've gone nuts, but who cares? You're hunting treasure.so. Next time you find a penny on the ground, don't just walk on by. Pick it up, flip it over, and take a good look. Especially if it's a 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It might just be hiding a tiny little error that turns 1 cent into 1.3 million bucks. And hey, even if it's not a millionaire penny, you're still in the game. Because once you know what to look for, every coin you come across becomes a mystery waiting to be solved. A possible jackpot hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this story and want more tips on coins worth serious money, strategies to grow your collection, or just want to hang out and talk treasure with a fellow coin nerd, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. I've got more juicy finds coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. Hey there, treasure hunters and coin flipping champions. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your pocket? No, really looked. I'm talking about flipping them over like Indiana Jones searching for lost artifacts. Because one of those little copper coins might just be your golden ticket. You could be holding a 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth, wait for it, $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard me right. That's not a typo. That's not a joke. That's a life-changing pile of cash hiding in your coin jar. Now, before you go flipping over the couch cushions or raiding your kid's piggy bank, sit tight. I'm going to break down exactly why this humble penny is worth more than a Lamborghini, what to look for, and how you might just strike it rich. And along the way, I've got a story involving a coin jar, an overcooked pizza, and my grandma's eagle eyes that you don't want to miss. So grab a snack, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's dig into the million-dollar mystery of the 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny. All right, let's start with the basics. The 1993 Lincoln penny was part of the regular run of coins made by the United States Mint. Most of them were made in Philadelphia, which usually doesn't put a mint mark on the coins. So if you're looking at a 1993 penny and there's no little letter under the year, don't panic. That part is totally normal. But here's where things get spicy. Among all those regular pennies, a few were struck with some strange and rare errors. These errors can include doubling, off-center strikes, planchet issues, and even rare composition mistakes. Now, normally that might only fetch you a few bucks, maybe a couple hundred if it's dramatic enough. But one particular 1993 no mint mark penny turned out to be so rare, so pristine, and so unusual that it was valued at $1.4 million in today's collector market. Now that's what I call a penny saved is a fortune earned. So what exactly makes this penny worth its weight in gold? And then some. First, condition. The million-dollar coin was found in what's called MS-70 condition. That stands for Mint State 70, which basically means it's flawless. No scratches, no nicks, no oily fingerprints from someone who just ate a bucket of fried chicken. It looks like it came straight from the mint and was immediately put in a time capsule. Second, this coin had an extremely rare die error. In simple terms, the stamp that hit this penny was slightly misaligned, causing some doubling in Lincoln's profile and a strange texture in the copper coating. Experts call this a transitional error because it reflects a weird in-between moment in the coin production process. Combine that with the perfect condition and the fact that only one like it has been authenticated, boom, you've got a collector's unicorn. A tiny, copper-colored, million-dollar unicorn. Now let's talk about where this coin was found. And here's where I bring in my grandma.so. Picture this. It's 2016. I'm sitting at grandma's kitchen table, sorting through a big OL jar of pennies while she makes her famous burnt bottom pizza. I'm not saying it's bad, but let's just say the smoke alarm was part of the cooking process. Anyway, I'm bored out of my mind flipping coins like I'm auditioning for a role in some Wild West saloon movie. And then grandma leans over, squints through her thick glasses, and says, "You know, people throw away pennies like they're not worth anything. But one day, someone's gonna find a penny worth $1 million." Now, I didn't know it then, but grandma was onto something. I kept sorting through that jar, found a couple of wheat pennies, some shiny 1982s, and even a Canadian penny that looked like it had been run over by a lawnmower. But number 1993, no mint mark magic that day. Still, I never forgot what she said. And now, with this coin making headlines in the coin collecting world, I realize grandma was a coin prophet. So what should you be looking for if you want to score big with your 1993 penny? Remember, that part is expected for Philadelphia coins. But if it has one, it's not the $1 million version. If it's been through the washing machine 5 times, you're out of luck. We're talking sharp details, clean edges, and full luster. Look for doubling in Lincoln's face or unusual surfaces and textures. If it looks a little off, it might be on the money. If you think you've got something special, don't just post it on Facebook asking strangers for opinions. Send it to a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now here's the kicker. The 1993 penny isn't the only one out there with surprise value. There are dozens of coins, nickels, dimes, quarters, that have sold for eye-watering amounts of cash because of rare errors or special conditions. And I talk about those all the time on this channel. But what makes the 1993 penny so special is how ordinary it looks. It hides in plain sight. It could be in your wallet, your desk drawer, or that old junk cup in your car next to expired mints and broken pins. Point 1. Never underestimate a penny. 2. Grandma is always right. And 3. $1 million finds aren't just in museums or sunken pirate ships. Sometimes they're jingling in your pocket right now. If you've got some 1993 pennies lying around, take a closer look. Who knows? You might be holding on to a fortune without even realizing it. Just don't go cashing them in for a soda before you've had them checked. Now listen, if you love learning about coins that are worth real money, if you enjoy hunting for hidden treasures, and if you just like hearing a few good stories along the way, then do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss a coin tip that could change your life. And hey, give this video a thumbs up if you've ever accidentally thrown away a coin and now seriously regret it. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now go check your change, call your grandma, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next lucky person to turn 1 cent into 1.4 million bucks. Hey everybody, listen up because you might want to check your pocket change after this video. No joke. Imagine this. You're digging through the couch cushions, hoping to find a quarter for the parking meter, and BM, you pull out a penny. Not just any penny. A 1997 D. Lincoln penny. Now, before you chuckle and toss it aside, let me hit you with the real headline. That little copper-colored coin might be worth 1.5 million bucks. Yeah, that's right. $1.5 million. For a penny. If that doesn't make you want to raid your change jar like a pirate after buried treasure, I don't know what will. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind this coin, why it's worth a fortune, what makes it so dang special, and how you might be lucky enough to find one. Oh, and I'll be sharing a little personal story involving a metal detector, a sunburn, and one very embarrassing moment at a local coin show. So, grab a drink, get comfy, and don't go anywhere because this could be the most profitable 40 minutes of your life. All right, let's start with the basics. The 1997 D. Lincoln penny. Minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, it looks pretty normal on the surface. You've got OL, Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that classic reddish tone we all know and mostly ignore. But here's where it gets interesting. Most 1997 D pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. Maybe 2 if you're lucky. But a tiny handful, and I do mean tiny, were struck with some major errors that make collectors go absolutely wild. We're talking minting errors, rare metal compositions, and die varieties that turn an everyday coin into a collector's holy grail. The most valuable 1997 D penny ever sold at auction? It went for $1.5 million. Yup, a penny someone might have used to scratch a lottery ticket with is now worth more than most people's houses. Now you're probably wondering, what exactly made that penny so valuable? Well, let's break it down. First off, it had a crazy mint error called a double die obverse. That means the image on the front was struck twice, slightly off-center, giving Lincoln a weird shadowy ghost face. Creepy? A little. Cool? Very. Valuable? Incredibly. Second, the coin had an off-metal strike. Instead of being made from the usual copper-plated zinc, it was struck on a planchet meant for a dime. That made it slightly thinner, lighter, and gave it a completely different ring when dropped on a table. I don't recommend throwing it, though. Not unless you like throwing away $1 million. And finally, the condition. That coin was found in nearly perfect shape. No scratches, no dents, just gleaming copper beauty. You see, condition is everything in the coin world. A beat-up penny might get you a few bucks. A pristine one? That's retirement money right there. A few years back, I got the bright idea to take up metal detecting. I figured I'd make it a relaxing hobby. Go out, enjoy the sunshine, maybe find some loose change, and live my Indiana Jones fantasy. So there I was, sweating under the hot summer sun, swinging my metal detector in the park like I was searching for buried treasure, After a solid hour of nothing but soda and tabs and rusty nails, I got a solid beep. Dug down and boom, I found a penny. A 1997 D. I nearly screamed. My heart was pounding, I was shaking, and I think I scared a squirrel out of a tree. I ran home, washed it off, inspected it with my loupe, held it up to the light, and of course, it was just your average run-of-the-mill penny. No Ghostface Lincoln, no off-metal strike, and definitely no $1.5 million jackpot. But hey, the rush? That feeling of maybe, just maybe, finding something life-changing? That's what keeps us in the hunt. Now let's talk about what to look for if you've got a 1997 D penny lying around. First, check for any doubling in the letters or Lincoln's features. Look at his eyes, his nose, and the words "I and God we trust." If they look blurry or shadowed, you might have a double die. Second, weigh the coin. If it feels a little too light or too heavy, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. You'll need a digital scale for that. Super cheap online and totally worth the investment. Third, check the edges. A misaligned die can cause off-center strikes or missing edges. Any weird shapes or cuts can mean big money. And last but not least, get a second opinion. There are professional grading services like PCGS or NGC that will tell you exactly what you've got. They'll also slab it, which basically means they seal it in a plastic case with a label that screams "I'm valuable." Now don't get discouraged if your penny turns out to be a regular one, because the real treasure is in the hunt. That next coin you get as change from the gas station could be worth more than your car, or your boat, or both. So here's the bottom line, folks, check your coins, especially those 1997 D Lincoln pennies. There's a $1.5 million jackpot out there with someone's name on it. Why not yours? Whether you're a seasoned collector or just a curious beginner with a jar full of change, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, stories, and seriously valuable finds. And hey, you don't need to be rich to get started. You just need a good eye, a little patience, and maybe a flashlight for digging around in the couch cushions. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more wild stories about coins worth more than your rent, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Tap the like, drop a comment if you've ever found something cool in your change, and don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss out on another $1 million coin tip. Hey there, my fellow coin hunters. Let me ask you a question that'll make you want to check your pocket change real quick. What if I told you that a plain OL 1985 D Lincoln penny, the same kind you might have chucked into a tip jar or lost under your car seat, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million? Yeah, you heard me right. A penny. Worth more than some folks' entire house. Now, before you flip your couch upside down looking for one, stick with me. We're diving deep into what makes the 1985 D Lincoln penny so insanely valuable, what rare features you should be looking for, and why one little coin from Denver might just be your retirement plan in copper form. And hey, if you're like me and once tried to use a handful of pennies to pay for tacos, this video is especially for you. Let's turn those humble 1-cent coins into treasure. All right, let's roll back the clock to 1985. Ronald Reagan was president, Back to the Future was killing it at the box office, and a gallon of gas cost about $1.20. Oh, and the Denver Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies by the billions. Now, most of those 1985 D pennies are still worth exactly what they say, 1 cent. Maybe 2 if you're lucky at the scrapyard. But every once in a while, one magical coin sneaks through the presses with an error so rare, collectors will throw bags of cash at you just to own it. It comes down to a wild combination of a few things: a double die error, high-grade condition, and a strong mint luster that's survived over 3 decades. Basically, this little copper beauty was born perfect, no scratches, no smudges, no signs of wear, and with a rare error that makes coin collectors lose their minds. A couple years back, I was visiting my Uncle Earl in Oklahoma. Now, Uncle Earl is what you might call old school. He still pays in cash, watches the news at 6 sharp, and keeps all his change in this giant glass water jug by the back porch. One afternoon, I got bored and started going through it, just looking for wheat pennies or anything funky. I must have sifted through 300 coins when I pulled out a shiny little 1985 D penny. It looked fresh, real fresh. I held it up to the light, squinted at it like a detective, and for a split second I thought, this could be it. Of course, it wasn't the $1 million one, but it got me hooked. I started researching errors, double dies, mint marks, you name it. And that's how I found out about the 1985 D jackpot penny. Now, This special coin isn't just any 1985D. It's got a very specific double die error, most often on the date and the lettering. If you spot a 1985D where the Liberty or the "In God We Trust" looks slightly blurry or doubled under magnification, stop what you're doing. That might just be the big one. Then comes the condition. Grading services like PCGS or NGC grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70. If your 1985 D penny has that error and is graded at MS68 or above, congrats, you might be sitting on six figures. But the one that sold for $1.6 million? That sucker was pristine. A true unicorn. Collectors go crazy for coins like this because they're nearly impossible to find in circulation. And if it has that beautiful red copper tone, you're in business. Someone found theirs in a roll of pennies from the bank. That's right. They didn't dig it up in an old pirate chest or buy it from a secret coin dealer in a shady alley. Nope. Just a regular roll of coins picked up on a Tuesday afternoon. That's what makes coin collecting so fun. The thrill of the hunt. You never know when a penny might turn out to be a payday. Now, while we're talking strategies, here are a few tips if you want to start looking for your own fortune. Get yourself a good magnifying glass. Not the kind your grandma used for crossword puzzles. You need one with real magnification so you can spot those doubled letters and die errors. Check every penny dated 1985 with a D mint mark. That D tells you it came from the Denver Mint, which is key for this rare variety. Look for clean, unworn coins. The shinier and crisper the detail, the better chance you have of hitting it big. Roll hunt like a pro. Head to your local bank and ask for a box of pennies. It's cheap entertainment and might make you rich. Learn to grade. Understanding the grading scale can help you figure out if what you've got is valuable or just nice to look at. Remember, this isn't a lottery ticket. It takes time and patience. But let me tell you, the moment you find something rare, your heart will skip a beat, and you'll be hooked. So, could you be holding on to a 1985 D Lincoln penny worth $1.6 million? Maybe. That's the magic of coin collecting. It takes a sharp eye, a little luck, and a whole lot of curiosity. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million one today, who's to say what you'll discover tomorrow? Maybe it'll be a rare nickel, a valuable quarter, or a dime that's worth more than your monthly car payment. If this kind of treasure hunt excites you, you're in the right place. I've got loads of videos covering coins that are secretly worth a fortune, and I'll even share my own wins and fails along the way. Think of it like a roadmap to building your own collection, or maybe even your own mini fortune. So if you had a good time, learn something new, or just want to make sure you never accidentally spend a $1.6 million penny on a pack of gum, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss a tip, a story, or a strategy. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now go check your change jar, dig through your couch cushions, and who knows, you might just strike copper gold. Hey, what's up, coin collectors? So, I've got something real special for you today. Picture this. You're digging through your change jar, not expecting much. Maybe finding a few pennies, a few dimes, the usual. But then, you pull out a 1988 penny, and guess what? This seemingly regular coin could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Yep, you heard that right. And in today's video, I'm going to show you why this unassuming little copper disc could make you a serious profit. Stick around, because you won't want to miss out on these tips. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. A 1988 penny worth $1.7 million? Nah, that can't be right. Trust me, it sounds insane, but it's true. These pennies, especially the ones with no mint mark, have become legendary in the coin collecting world. But first, let's break it down a bit and explain how something so small can end up being worth more than a house. So, back in 1988, the US Mint was still cranking out pennies like they were going out of style. Most of them were made in Philly, the ones with no mint mark, and they were produced in such huge numbers that you'd think they wouldn't be worth much today. But here's the kicker. Some of these 1988 pennies had a weird flaw during production. Yeah, it's all about the minting errors, my friend. These mint errors are what make some coins worth an absolute fortune. Imagine a penny that looks normal, except maybe it's got a little off-center strike, a doubling of the design, or some other weird quirk that sets it apart from the rest. These errors are like finding a needle in a haystack, and when collectors get wind of it, the price goes through the roof. All right, let me hit you with a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through some old change I found in a jar. You know, the usual, coins from random places, some that looked like they'd been through a war zone. I wasn't expecting to find anything crazy. I figured I'd throw a few coins up for sale online, maybe make a buck or two. But guess what? I ended up selling a coin that was just like a 1988 no mint mark penny, and I got way more than I ever thought possible. It wasn't the $1.7 million, but it was close enough to remind me that you never know what you've got until you really take the time to look. Now, let's talk about the market. The 1988 no mint mark penny is not just some rare error coin. It's got history and significance. If you've ever wondered why people pay so much for these coins, it's all about rarity. Not only are these specific errors uncommon, but the penny itself was made in such high quantities that finding one in mint condition with a significant error is like finding a unicorn. But don't get too excited and think you can just pull out any old 1988 penny and expect a fortune. Oh no, it's got to be the right one. These coins need to be in pristine condition, and the error has to be obvious enough for collectors to notice. So, how do you know if you've got the right one? Well, that's where the fun begins, because it's all about knowing what to look for. If your penny has no mint mark, that's step one. The 1988 pennies made in Philadelphia didn't have a mint mark, and those are the ones that have the potential to be worth more than their face value. Keep an eye out for minting errors, like double strikes, off-center strikes, or a misaligned die. These imperfections can make your coin a lot more valuable. The rarer the mistake, the higher the value. If the penny is in great shape, we're talking near-perfect condition, it's going to fetch a much higher price. The more wear and tear a coin has, the less it's going to be worth. Rarity. Remember, the fewer of these pennies in circulation, the higher the demand. If you've got a true mint error or a unique flaw, you might just be holding on to a gold mine. So, if you're digging through that change jar and happen to stumble upon a 1988 no mint mark penny, don't just toss it aside like any other cent. Give it a second look. It could be worth more than you ever imagined. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, knowing how to spot these valuable coins is key. And who knows, that penny you thought was worthless could end up funding your next big adventure. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more awesome tips and strategies on how to find coins that could make you a fortune. I've got plenty more coin secrets to share with you, so stay tuned and keep hunting those hidden gems. You never know when the next big find is going to come your way.